All right, so we're diving into the story of Mary Cowan today.
Oh, yeah, this is a fascinating one.
This is one that you guys requested.
Absolutely.
And I can see why, after reading through all of this,
Yeah.
it's fascinating, to say the least.
Yeah, it's a good one.
So Mary Cowan, a.k.a. the Borgia of Maine.
Ooh, that's not a good nickname to have.
No, not at all.
No, it makes you wonder what she did to earn that.
Yeah, what makes someone the Borgia of anything, right?
Exactly.
So we're going to be going through some Wikipedia excerpts about her life.
Right.
And I'm excited to kind of dig into this and see what we can find.
Yeah, it should be interesting.
So to start off, let's rewind the clock back to 1863,
Okay.
when Mary Knight is born in rural Maine.
Okay.
A seemingly ordinary beginning.
Yep.
And she marries this farmer named Willis Bean.
Right.
They have 3 daughters, Gracie, Alice, and Mabel.
Okay, so far so good.
Yeah, typical life, it sounds like.
Yeah, for the 19th century.
Yeah, but then tragedy strikes, as it often does in these stories. And all 3 of her daughters die young.
Oh, gosh.
And the sources mention peculiar stomach aches, but there weren't really any investigations done.
Oh, wow. So just kind of swept under the rug.
Yeah, I mean, this is the late 1800s.
Okay.
Things were different then.
Yeah, for sure.
What I found super chilling is how Mary reacted when her first daughter, Gracie, died.
Okay.
A neighbor found the child and told Mary, and she simply said, "I know, she died about half an hour ago."
Oh, wow. So she already knew.
Yeah.
That's strange.
That's not even grief, it's almost indifference.
Yeah, it's eerie.
That's very, very strange.
It's like she expected it.
And then Willis, Mary's husband, amidst all of this tragedy,
Yeah.
he was very determined to become a doctor.
Oh, yeah.
So much so that he and Mary tried to buy a medical diploma.
What? Like off of the back of a truck?
Yeah, basically like one of those institutions that sells them.
Wow, people could do that back then.
It sounds unbelievable, right?
It does.
But apparently it was a reality back then.
Wow.
Luckily for everyone involved, a law was passed prohibiting that right before Willis was able to get his hands on one of these shady diplomas.
Oh, that's lucky.
Very lucky.
That could have been bad.
Yeah.
So what did they do after that?
So this setback didn't deter them.
Right.
They decide to travel to Ohio,
All right.
hoping to find maybe a more flexible institution that would grant them those medical credentials. But before they left, Willis told his parents that he was going to invest in a farm in Ohio with the plan of settling there once they returned to Maine.
Okay.
So he took out a mortgage for the farm, but he never had it officially recorded.
Oh, why not?
He left it with his parents for safekeeping.
Oh, okay.
I have a feeling that's going to come back to haunt someone.
Yeah, that's usually how these things work.
Yeah, so Willis and Mary head off to Ohio with about $200 borrowed from someone.
All right.
And then tragedy strikes again.
Oh, no, not again.
So Willis heads off to Ohio with big dreams, and we
Yeah.
see a familiar pattern emerge in the sources. In January of 1888, Willis's parents get a letter informing them that their son died
Oh, how awful.
from severe stomach pain.
So all 4 now have died from these mysterious stomach pains.
Yes.
Wow.
So very eerily similar to his children.
You would think somebody would be like,
Yeah.
this is a little suspicious.
You would think so.
Right.
But again, this was a different time.
Yeah.
Forensic science wasn't what it is today.
Right.
But here's where things get really interesting.
Okay.
Mary returns to Maine and stays with Willis's parents.
Okay.
And guess what conveniently disappears?
The mortgage?
The unrecorded mortgage.
Wow.
And with that deed in her possession, she legally owns the farm.
Oh, wow.
And she sells it for a profit of $2,000.
That's a good chunk of change back then.
Oh, yeah, that's a lot of money.
So this Borgia of Maine title is starting to make a lot more sense now.
It really is.
It's starting to paint a picture.
Yeah, and this is just the beginning. Oh, there's more.
Oh, there's so much more.
I
can't wait.
Does Mary lie low and enjoy her newfound wealth?
I'm going to guess no, knowing what we know now.
Mary, it seems, had a penchant for matrimony.
Oh, here we go.
She marries George H. Taylor,
Okay.
who's a laborer from Dixmont.
All right.
They move to Lewiston,
Right.
and you won't believe what happens next.
What?
4 days into the marriage, George is dead,
What?
and the cause.
Don't tell me stomach pains.
Stomach pains.
Oh my gosh, this is crazy.
It's almost like a morbid signature at this point.
It's like her calling card.
So now you're thinking, didn't you say George was a member of the Oddfellows?
I did, yeah.
A fraternal organization?
Yes.
Wouldn't he have had life insurance?
Yeah, he should have.
He should have, but he was behind on his dues.
Oh.
So the policy was void.
Oh, so she didn't get any money this time.
However, the other Oddfellows, feeling sympathy for Mary, the grieving widow.
Here we go again.
They chipped in and gave her a few $100s.
Oh, come on.
So even though she wasn't technically entitled to it, she still manages to profit.
Wow, she's good.
From her husband's untimely death.
She's got a knack for this.
I'm sensing a theme here.
Yeah, I'm picking up what you're putting down.
But I'm guessing she doesn't stop there.
No, I don't think so either.
You're absolutely right.
Okay, I can't wait to hear what happens next.
Mary Cowan wasn't done with marriage.
Oh boy, this is gonna be good.
Or should we say the benefits that came with it?
Yeah, air quotes, benefits.
So in part 2, we're going to dive into her third marriage and the events that finally lead to her downfall.
All right, I'm ready for part 2.
Okay, so we left off with Mary twice widowed.
Uh-huh.
And profiting from both of those unfortunate events.
Yeah, she's got a knack for this, it seems.
It seems she does, and she doesn't stay single for very long.
Okay.
She marries Elias Cowan.
Elias Cowan.
A widower with an 8-year-old son.
All right.
Also named Willis.
Another Willis.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
It's an interesting coincidence.
Yeah.
So does Elias meet the same fate as her previous husbands?
Well, not exactly.
Okay.
Elias himself doesn't die.
Okay.
But shortly after their marriage, a mysterious fire breaks out.
Oh, no.
And it destroys all of his farm buildings.
What?
Mhm.
So maybe not a direct repeat of the stomachache pattern.
Right.
But still pretty suspicious timing.
Oh, for sure.
Especially considering her track record.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's like, come on.
Yeah. And it gets even more suspicious when you consider that neighbors who helped put out the fire noticed that all of the family's belongings were already packed up.
What?
Like in bundles, like ready for a move.
Oh, wow. So they were prepared.
Yeah, almost as if they knew the fire was coming.
That's really suspicious.
It sounds like a possible case of insurance fraud on top of everything else.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Though it's worth noting that no charges were ever actually brought against her in relation to the fire.
Okay.
So we're dealing with some rumors and speculation here. But back to Elias's son, young Willis.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he wasn't so lucky.
So he becomes the next victim.
Sadly, yes.
Yeah. Right.
And there were already some whispers going around town that Mary wasn't exactly the kindest stepmother to young Willis. People had observed her mistreating him and even physically abusing him.
That's awful.
Yeah, it's really sad.
So what ultimately happened to young Willis?
So on September 14th, 1894, Willis eats some green apples.
Uh-oh.
And comes down with severe stomach pains.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. So a doctor is called. He prescribes some medicine.
Okay.
And assures everyone that he's going to be fine.
But I'm guessing he doesn't pull through.
No, he doesn't.
Oh, gosh.
2 days later, Willis dies in agony.
This has to be the turning point, right?
Yeah, this time it was different.
Okay.
Given Mary's history.
Yeah.
3 dead children, 2 adult husbands, all with similar symptoms.
Right.
And the fact that Elias had also fallen ill with stomach pains but survived, people finally started putting 2 and 2 together.
Right.
They exhumed Willis's body and sent his organs to Bowdoin College in Brunswick for analysis.
And what did they find?
Arsenic poisoning.
Oh, my gosh.
And not just a trace amount.
Wow.
The report said it was enough to kill a full-grown ox.
That's just horrifying.
Yeah, it's really bad.
So I'm assuming they finally arrested Mary?
They did.
Okay.
And, prior to this, Mary had threatened to sue anyone who dared to accuse her of poisoning.
Wow.
But when they put her behind bars, she finally broke down and started crying.
Oh, wow.
So it seemed like the gravity of the situation finally caught up with her.
So what happened at the trial?
Well, the prosecution certainly had a mountain of evidence.
Right.
Witness testimonies, the suspicious circumstances surrounding all the previous deaths.
Yeah.
And, of course, that damning arsenic report.
Of course.
It's worth noting that a young girl from the neighborhood actually claimed to have seen Mary adding a white powder to Willis's medicine.
Oh, wow. So they had an eyewitness.
They did. But unfortunately, she never testified in court.
Oh, why not?
Her father, fearing for her safety, refused to let her take the stand.
Wow, that's chilling.
It is.
But even without her testimony, I'm guessing the evidence was enough to convict?
Yes. The jury deliberated for a few days and returned with a guilty verdict.
Okay.
Mary, as stoic as ever, showed no emotion as she listened to the verdict.
Wow. So what was the sentence? Death penalty?
Not in this case.
Okay.
She was sentenced to life imprisonment in 1896.
Life behind bars for the Borgia of Maine?
Yeah.
You'd think that would be the end of the story?
Right. Justice served.
Case closed.
Yeah.
But something tells me there's more to uncover.
You're right to be suspicious. Mary Cowan wasn't one to go quietly.
Okay, now I'm really intrigued.
So in part 3, we're going to explore her life behind bars, her attempts to overturn the verdict, and her ultimate fate.
So Mary Cowan's behind bars, convicted of murder, dubbed the Borgia of Maine. You'd think that would be the end of her story, but knowing Mary, I have a feeling there's more.
Oh yeah, she was not one to just go quietly.
What did she do?
Even from prison, she continued to fight for her freedom.
Really?
Oh yeah, she gave interviews, wrote letters, and even claimed to have hired a private detective.
A private detective from prison?
From prison to unearth new evidence.
What was she hoping to find?
That's a great question. And unfortunately, the sources don't really go into a lot of detail.
Okay.
But we know that she maintained her innocence and believed that this detective would uncover proof of a conspiracy against her.
It's just fascinating how she just clung to that hope.
Right.
Even when faced with all this evidence and a life sentence.
Yeah, it speaks to a certain level of denial, maybe.
Yeah, or just an unshakable belief in her own ability to manipulate.
Yeah.
Or outsmart the system.
Yeah, that's possible.
But unfortunately for Mary, none of her appeals or the alleged detective work yielded any results.
Yeah, and on February 19, 1896, her sentence was officially confirmed. Life imprisonment for the murder of young Willis Cowan.
So that's it then. End of the line for Mary Cowan.
Well, not quite. Even behind bars, Mary's story takes one final unexpected turn.
Okay, now I'm really intrigued what happened.
While serving her sentence, Mary gave birth to a child.
She had a baby in prison. That's a detail I definitely didn't see coming.
Yeah, it's a crazy twist.
Do we know who the father was?
Sadly, no. The sources don't say anything about that.
Okay.
So the details surrounding the child's paternity remain a mystery to this day.
Wow.
Just adding another layer of intrigue to this already complex story.
Right.
But sadly, the baby died shortly after birth.
Wow.
And Mary herself passed away not long after that.
So how old was she when she died?
She was just 35 years old in 1898.
Wow.
When she died in the Maine State Prison.
So young.
Yeah, very tragic.
And that's where the Borgia of Maine, Mary Cowan's story ends.
Yeah, she was initially buried near her parents, but was later moved to the Sawyer Cemetery in Plymouth, her birthplace.
And that's where she rests alongside some of the very people she was accused of poisoning.
It's kind of creepy when you think about it like that.
There's a certain chilling symmetry to that.
Yeah, for sure.
Mary Cowan's story is a stark reminder that darkness can really lie beneath the surface
Absolutely.
of seemingly ordinary lives.
Yeah, you never really know what's going on behind closed doors.
Right, and thinking back on this whole story, small town Maine in the late 1800s,
Yeah.
people didn't necessarily jump to poison as the first explanation for an illness.
Right, they probably thought it was some kind of disease or something.
And Mary, it seems, was very good at playing the role of the grieving widow.
Oh yeah, she had it down to a science.
Makes you wonder how many other cases like this might have gone unnoticed.
Yeah, that's a chilling thought.
It really is. So we've uncovered a lot about Mary's actions, but the sources don't really give us a clear motive.
Right. We can speculate.
Was it all about the money?
Maybe.
Or was there something else going on?
It's hard to say.
What do you think?
I mean, it's possible that she had some sort of mental illness
Right.
we just don't know about.
That wasn't diagnosed back then.
Exactly. Or maybe she just really enjoyed the attention and sympathy she got.
Oh, yeah. She was good at playing the victim.
Yeah, she was.
But ultimately, I guess we'll never know for sure.
Nope. It's a mystery that's going to keep us guessing.
This deep dive into Mary Cowan's life has been fascinating and disturbing. A true crime saga filled with twists, turns, and unanswered questions.
Yeah, a real head scratcher.
It's a story that'll likely continue to be debated and analyzed for years to come.
Absolutely.
And for you, our listener, we hope this deep dive has provided some valuable insights and maybe even sparked your own curiosity to delve further into the mysteries of Mary Cowan, the Borgia of Maine.
Yeah, and if you have any other cases you'd like us to take a look at, be sure to let us know.
We're always looking for new mysteries to unravel.
So until next time, happy sleuthing.